So, I mean, just go ahead and drop the name of the book again and a website that they can kind of get in contact with you.
Okay, so of course it is this is a part one of a 2 or 3 part series. We haven't decided yet, but this is part one. And so, becoming chief, life lessons learned
Mhm.
on the road less traveled, and then this next part, because people when they read the book, they was like, okay, where's the next part? Where's the next part? And we talked about that because this next book is going to be volume 2 is going to be talking about the 14 years that I was chief. So we had to set the table and we built the foundation. And this first book, Becoming Chief, is just that, right? Who am I? Who was I? How did I get to be a chief? All of those life lessons, ups and downs, and how your upbringing sometimes define or just defines who you are and who you become and how successful. And then the people that you meet along the path that God puts in your way and puts in your path to help you. And it could be temporary. You might not ever see these people again, but it's like all of these things is truly just kind of go together to build out the perfect will that God has for your life, and you don't even know it. And you don't even think about. I had the captain who I had when I had talked myself out of taking a leadership role, and his little 5 minutes with me in his office encouraged me to go for a leadership role. Now, had he not been there, he could have cared less and said, well, she don't want to put in, this on her. But, by him spending time with me and kind of being that influencer to say, you're ready for a leadership role. I didn't see that in myself, but he saw it in me. And so I'm thankful for him for being who he was, to take time to say, you're ready for this leadership role. So, so people like that along the way that you don't even think about, that God put there. And then, you build off of that and you go and it's like, okay. And I talk about in the book, having to deal with a whole experience of dealing with mean girls in high school. But it was interesting because, you think, oh my God, it was the end of, especially being in high school, you're thinking, oh, it was horrible. But it really helped me as I was becoming a police officer, how to deal with rude customers, how to deal with people who may have been envious, as co-workers, and so it helps you, it prepares you because you've already dealt with this, you know how to deal with it. So that's what this book is. The next book will be about being the chief, and that's a different roller coaster. So I tell people all the time, when they say, "Oh, you broke through the glass ceiling," of becoming a female chief. And I was like, yeah, but the journey starts. That's where the journey begins, right? It starts all over again because now you have to stay a chief and you have to deal with a whole set of issues that I never dealt with as an officer because the buck stops with me. And so it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of responsibility. And so you have to be ready for being sued or people blaming you for things that you didn't even do. You weren't even there, but because you're the chief, now you have to respond to that. And as you alluded to, yeah, I was on TV a lot because, people wanted to hear from the chief. I can send 4 or 5, public information folks out there, and then they'll still request, we want to hear from the chief. And so, and knowing when as a chief you should speak, because you shouldn't always speak as the chief, because there's certain times that is reserved for the chief. And in certain situations, if I'm out there all the time, then it waters down the message. But if I come, then that it's serious. I mean, so that, just understanding that and how to have your message go out without always being on camera, but getting the work done and building your base and building your supporters is so important. It's so important. So all of those lessons will be talked about in book 2, and it's coming. But 14 years of just being an officer and really thinking that because I had been internal, I was already hired and I knew everything about our department, being the chief was going to be easy because I already knew absolutely the wrong message. And so I learned a lot, stressed a lot. I was intentional about trying to do the best job that I could do. And I think I had a pretty successful career, but it's all about who you surround yourself with and making sure that you get, just stay relevant, just staying relevant. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really hope people will purchase this book. Other than the people that's already purchased it, please go out and buy one for your mama, your sister, or anybody that you think that will benefit from the book. And the message is that you too, in your own way, no matter what you're dealing with, you too can, build your own success story. And whatever that is for you, it didn't have to be my success story. It doesn't have to be the path that I chose, but it could be, it didn't have to be college. It could be whatever you feel is right for you. You could be starting a business, but hopefully these life lessons that I've learned, and I talk about in the book, will help you on your path.